Today, we're going to unravel an incredible story, a family history, really. We're tracing the shared roots of three of the world's biggest religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And it's a story that has shaped billions of lives and, honestly, the entire course of human history. So, let's dive in. You see these symbols everywhere, right? The Star of David, the cross, the crescent. And you'd think, okay, three totally different worlds, separate beliefs, separate histories. But what if they aren't? What if I told you they're all just different branches on the very same family tree? And that's the secret, isn't it? This isn't a story about three totally separate beginnings. Now, it's a story of one single, ancient family that just grew in different directions. And it all starts with one guy who lived something like 4,000 years ago in the ancient Near East. And let me tell you, this is not a small family. Combined, we're talking about more than half the entire population of the planet. So you can see why understanding where they all come from, well, it's not just some history lesson. It's kind of crucial for understanding the world we live in right now. So where do we begin? With this man right here, Abraham. Or, as he's known in the Islamic tradition, Ibrahim. He is the common father, the patriarch at the very top of the family tree, revered by Jews, Christians, and Muslims as this foundational figure. And that's exactly why you always hear them called the Abrahamic religions. It all comes back to him. They all share this core belief in one God, the very same God that made a sacred promise, a covenant with Abraham. And believe me, that one promise kicked off a story that would literally change the world. Okay, so here's where things get really interesting. This is the first major split in the family tree. It all comes down to Abraham's two sons, born to two different mothers. And this fork in the road, well, it's the point from which these three massive faiths would eventually grow. So on one side, you've got Isaac. He was Abraham's son with his wife Sarah. And his family line, that leads us straight to the Israelite prophets and becomes the foundation for Judaism. Then, on the other side, there's Ishmael, Abraham's firstborn son with Hagar. In Islamic tradition, he's seen as an ancestor of the Arab people and a prophet himself. His lineage leads all the way to the Prophet of Islam. See? Two brothers, two absolutely epic destinies. All right, let's follow Isaac's branch of the family first. We're going to jump forward a few centuries. His descendants, the Israelites, have fallen on hard times. They're enslaved in Egypt. And it's right here in the middle of all this that one of the most famous figures in all of history shows up: Moses. I mean, Moses is the central prophet in Judaism. His life story is just epic. It's all about liberation and law. He's the one who leads his people out of slavery in that incredible exodus. And then at Mount Sinai, he receives a set of divine laws straight from God. And those laws become the absolute cornerstone of the Jewish faith. You've definitely heard of these laws. The 10 Commandments. You know, stuff like worship only one God, honor your parents, you shall not murder. This becomes the basis of the Torah, Judaism's holy book. But their influence went so much further. These core principles became a moral blueprint for countless societies and legal systems ever since. Okay, so now we're going to hit the fast forward button. We're jumping ahead more than 1,000 years, but we're staying on that same branch of the family tree. The land of the Israelites is now called Judea, and it's being ruled by the Romans. And it's right here that a brand new, world-changing branch starts to grow with the birth of Jesus. Now, this part is so important to get. Jesus wasn't some outsider who just appeared. He was a Jew. He lived as a Jew, he taught from the Hebrew scriptures, and all of his first followers were Jews. Christianity didn't just pop up out of thin air. It grew right out of the soil of Judaism. So what happened? Well, his teachings about a new covenant really connected with people, but his claims also seemed pretty threatening to the authorities, both Roman and some Jewish leaders, which ultimately led to his crucifixion. For his followers, though, that wasn't the end of the story, not even close. Their passionate belief that he rose from the dead, that was the spark. That was the event that turned this Jewish movement into a new world religion, Christianity. Okay, everybody with me. Now we're going to rewind. Let's go all the way back to that first fork in the road and follow the other branch of the family, the one that started with Abraham's first son, Ishmael. For this, we travel forward about 600 years after Jesus to the Arabian city of Mecca. It's here that a respected merchant named Muhammad started retreating to a cave to meditate. And it was there, according to Islamic belief, that he received the first of many divine revelations, marking the beginning of the final Abrahamic faith. What's so fascinating is that Islam sees itself not as something totally new, but as a restoration, the completion of that original faith of Abraham. The revelations Muhammad received from the angel Gabriel form the Quran. And this is where you really see the family connection crystal clear. Islam reveres Abraham, Moses, and Jesus as righteous prophets in the same sacred line. So you can really see this pattern, right? This shared prophetic tradition. You have Moses, or Musa as he's known in Islam, who brought the Torah, defining the law of the covenant. Then Jesus, or Isa, who brought the gospel and a message of a new covenant built on faith. And finally, Muhammad, who brought the Quran, seen as the final complete revelation of God's word. Now, here's what's absolutely wild. For a family with a story that spans thousands of years and covers the entire globe, the heart of it all, the physical center of their shared story, beats in one single, tiny piece of land. I'm talking, of course, about the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is where this whole family history becomes real. Like, you can actually touch it. It's written in the stones of the city. It's not just important to one of these faiths. You could argue it's the holiest city on earth for all three of them. It's been a focal point of deep devotion, but also for intense conflict for centuries. And the craziest part is just how close all these sacred sites are to each other. For Jews, you have the Western Wall, the last remnant of their ancient temple. For Christians, there's the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, right on the spot where they believe Jesus died and rose again. And for Muslims, the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque are where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. We're talking about places you can practically walk between in minutes. And this really gets to the core of it, doesn't it? This shared space is the ultimate paradox of the Abrahamic family. It's this beautiful, physical proof of how deeply connected they are, and at the exact same time, it's been the epicenter of some of history's most heartbreaking family feuds. And all of this leaves us with one last really big question. Knowing that these great faiths all look back to the same Father, honor many of the same prophets, and hold the same small piece of ground sacred, what does that mean for their future? It's a question that everyone in this family, and honestly all of us, have to keep grappling with.